This was part of a different build that I had done in SimAirport. Just trying out new things. What I wanted to do was to try out if I was able to build a first class lounge and see if we could separate the coach class passengers from the first class passengers. So the method with which I decided to do that was by creating two areas. Now they're not exactly proportional, but what I decided to do was to create two areas, one of which where all of the queues, i.e. everything on the left hand side of the screen, were queues for coach class only. Let me just try and zoom in there. So all of these are coach only, every single one assigned to, and you'll see here all of these are all assigned as coach only, every single one. All queues coach only. As they come through into ticketing, if I go to the ID check stands, assigned to coach only, they go through security, then they pop out here, and then all of these loading gates are assigned to coach only. There's only one queue, all coach only, not any passengers, just purely coach. What I then did was I then created a separate area walled off with an entrance with a queue, which then pandered only to first class. So all of these are first class only, every single one of them, which then takes you to a queue for security, which again assigned to first class only, and the same with all of them anyway, first class. Just let me check on that one, just let me doubly check just so I can evidence that the fact that I am being legitimate and honest. Then once we filtered them through security, the gate queues are all assigned to all three queues first class only. I have the cafes, all of the cafe tills set again first class only. That queue is only a first class queue. Anybody with coach, again this queue assigned to coach only. So everything, this kitchen comes from people from this area, and everything first class is in this area. So everything has been segregated and separated as first class and coach class only. Now this map hasn't been my standard one that I've been demonstrating online with you guys. This is from probably about a week ago. This is one that I started to build as part of my own online view. It's not the one I would usually broadcast to you guys, but I thought, you know what I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and I'll try and see if there's ways that I can mix this up and have first class and standard coach class in together. So again, I've got this whole right hand side of the screen identified as first class. Everything on the left hand side is coach class. I have only 3 gates, and that's the way it's going to stay for a while. And then basically this first class gate loads this plane, this middle one loads this one, and as you've already guessed, this right hand gate loads this right hand aeroplane gate. And that's the way it should work. That's the way I've set it up to work. But it doesn't appear to be working that way. Now I am aware that these toilets aren't assigned as first class toilets or coach toilets. I can't define those zones. Same with these, I can't define the zones. Let me just sell that supply pile. I had 2 problems, in fact maybe 2 or 3 problems specifically with these restrooms. One, passengers disembarking. If I didn't have this door here, we're actually going in through these restricted gates and into the first class lounge and then loitering around in the toilet. They would then leave, either going back out through security or leave back out through baggage claim. It was a bit weird. So then what I did was I then built a wall across it, demolished some toilets, put a wall across it, opened this door, and now I've got these passengers going in here, and then they come out, and then they go out appropriately, which is fine. I'm happy with that. But now what we're finding is passengers coming all the way through, all the way round, and using this restroom. Or if they sit in these chairs, I think the way that the queuing thing works, or how the route finding works, is it goes to the closest available restroom. But it's not necessarily this restroom that they're going round to, it's this one. In fact, you know what, just as an example, I'm going to dismantle that bin as well when we set it going. They don't go to this restroom. I mean, it does get used, but these just seem to get absolutely battered. Now then, I then have first class passengers go in through what we would define as the first class gate. They go through first class security into what we would define as a first class lounge. Then they walk all the way out, come through, and then into the cafe and get served at the cafe. They might even have a sit down here, then come all the way back out and then go round to the restroom and then go to this cafe. It's weird, and I don't know what is going on here. I cannot keep the first class passengers in the first class lounge, yet it's got everything that the other coach class lounge has. So let's just take a look at it. We're going to press play. I'm not going to do it 2 times speed because I want you all just to watch and see what's happening at a rate that we can actually observe and see what's going on. And I'm looking solely at the moment at those people who are going into first class. We also have workers as well who are working in this kitchen here, sorry, so queuing at this kitchen, this one, but we have these workers who seem to frequent both kitchens, both queues, which is also very, very, very weird. Now here you go, we've got passengers now who've gone through first class and are now beginning to come out into this area. Not sure why. I think the cafe they've got here is spacious, it's lovely, the chairs are nice, blah de blah. Did that person order that food in my cafe then walk round to the other cafe? I don't know. Where are these people going who are coming in from the bottom? They're going to the other cafe. Look at it. All of these people coming in. I mean, this is the first class area. So the ticketing here is fine. Oh, there's a bit of a backlog there. What's going on there? Oh, I'll look at that in a minute. The most important thing right now is I'm understanding what's happening with this first class lounge. So I think I'm going to be okay in terms of understanding that I probably need to move these restrooms, which may be causing some form of flux, but I don't believe that that's the root cause. I don't believe there's any one specific root cause, to be fair. I just think it's the... I don't know what it is, but I'm probably saying that I feel that what we probably need is a method of which to define an area as first class, which identifies and lines up with a passenger who's identified as first class, and then, you know, they stick to that area. You know, look, there's a probability maybe if first class area is greater than, you know, 99%, then you stick in that area, you know, and you join the first class queues for the cafes, first class queues for the kitchens, first class queues for the security, first class queues for the ticketing, and everything remains first class. Maybe even defining the fact that it's first class restroom or a coach class restroom, you know, and maybe having it work like that. I'm not sure. I just can't fathom why all of these passengers are toing and throwing between the two areas, yet I've done everything that I believe is reasonably possible to give both equal facilities. Random, absolutely random. It is, it's just random, I've got no idea. I mean, I'm pleased to see that the queues are actually forming before, you know, the gate at A1 if you look at the queue, first class queue for A1, there's already a healthy number of passengers there ready to get on board. Even the passengers now are joining the queue ahead of time. I don't know who these people are and why they're not being seen to. Folks, hello? That's weird. Okay. So these people aren't being served by anybody. Oh, there we go, one's just gone through. Why aren't... Oh, because they're all taking only from one queue. How weird. Well, it is what it is, and if it's not working... Okay. I just need to define that queue now. Is it that one? Assign to. Coach only. Assign. Close. So these people are being seen to, just not quick enough. I've assigned one desk per one line, so it looks like maybe that's not paying dividends right now. But that's the least of my worries right now. I'm not really all that concerned about it. The queues currently, passengers are boarding. So the first class queue people are now making their way this way. You see, I've got no challenges in terms of how these first class gate handlers are sending people over to either of the gates. They seem to be working perfectly fine and appropriately well within how you'd expect them, and really how you've defined it, or how I've defined it, in terms of just the queues being just set for each gate and being first class only. Same with these coach class ones as well. I've got no real challenge in terms of that, and it looks like these guys are going to make it through before their flights leave. Yeah, weird, very very weird though, how I can't seem to define, just keep up there. So everybody there is on board, brilliant. We've got plenty of people en route for this one. And this 707 is going to start shortly, so these people are starting to board now, and these are coming all the way through. And it's a reasonably short distance between the ticketing and security. How many janitors have I got? 20, that's more than enough. Yeah, so I think there should be like a kind of a club class ticketing. Maybe it's like you can highlight an area as ticketing, and then like a secondary zone that you can drag over the top as, you know, first or second, or maybe a tick box, you know, maybe a tick box here which says first and second, and so that you can have like click first and then highlight ticketing, or maybe 3 click boxes, one that says first, one that says second, one that says any, and you click the box which is appropriate and then drag the zone, so but it actually highlights it as, you know, first ticketing, coach ticketing, or 3 equals any passengers ticketing. And the same for the security, just leave it ticked and then select security and drag that, and that would be second class. I'm not sure, but it needs something to help fix this issue. And it would be the same, you know, with the cafes, it would be the same with any zone. So essentially you have the zones, but then there's a tick box which would highlight which zoned area you would want, and you only need 3. You need 1 tick box for first class, 1 tick box for coach class, and then the 3rd tick box which would be for any passengers. And then so if you're defining an area, certainly when you're early on in an airport build, you can put any passengers, tick the box, and then just drag ticketing, and that assigns that ticketing area for any passengers. But then like here where I've got a filter now happening for coach class here, and then first class here to the right hand side, I can actually zone these areas as here is the first here's the first class ticketing, here's the first class security, and here's the first class cafe, with all of these gates. But for some reason I'm just not getting the segregation I wanted or needed as part of this. So yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss really in terms of what I'm going to do. I'll probably send highlights of this to the SimAirport devs. Obviously it's the alpha build. I don't know if they'll be interested enough maybe to take note of it. We'll see. You know, I think it's maybe certainly something for thought. It can go to maybe blue sky thinking, maybe lessons learned. But yeah, just defining. I thought it was a good idea when I first set out to do it about how I was going to segregate it, and I built all the walls and I defined all the zones, defined all of the gates. So if you did it, you know, from as a business process from left to right thinking, you had your gates, through the gates, into security, all defined strictly, first class only, into this area, all of these queues, first class only. But no, it's just a free for all. Doesn't work. No entry gates. I mean, I don't know why these people are going in when there's no entry gates. Just beats me. Just absolutely beats me. Anyway, there you go. I'm going to leave that one there. Still loving this game. There are still a few things to iron out in terms of, you know, how quick it can run when there's, you know, 2,400 or 3,000 passengers. But all in all, loving this game. Some really good stuff. It's the kind of stuff you go away and you ever think about and you come back to it and you tweak it, and maybe it doesn't work so you tweak it a bit more, or you know, but I'm really loving the game. I think it's really good. I don't think I must have built maybe 20 or 30 different airports laid out differently, and none of them have been the same, and some of the ideas I've learned and moved on from, and brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to some of the new additions as well. So yeah, if you when you're watching this for the first time, don't hesitate to pick up this game. Don't forget to, you know, don't worry about picking up the pre-alpha build. I think it's brilliant. They're really working well to resolve the issues, and I've got no issues in terms of, you know, recommending this game to anybody. All right, thanks very much, and we will see you shortly. All the best.